Hi, I'm Gary Jenkins, and welcome to my show. Today we're going to paint some poppies against sort of an antique red background with some black around it. Let me show you the painting that I'll be working from. You guys know I worked this painting up in advance. Whoa, look at that. That is beautiful. But it's not so much the flowers today. It's the beautiful kind of antique-y red background. On one of our trips to Europe, we went to Germany and the Netherlands, and look at that. This area is so beautiful that at times words are not enough to explain the beauty. I could just visualize Rembrandt walking up to the mill to purchase pigment for his paintings. 600 years ago, the first mill was built, and at this time they have about 1,000 mills. The mills make flour, they make paper, mustard, and pigment with the big wheel turning. Look at that thing. Can you imagine that they had to make these wheels by hand? In this mill, at this time, they are grinding limestone rock to make gesso, or gesso, it's pronounced both ways, which is used to prime artist canvas. There I am looking at that wheel, and I'm wondering how in the world did they ever build these things without the use of electricity? We had a chance to visit with Pete, the owner of the mill. What a wonderful guy. He is telling us how the name of the mill, which is Cat with a K, came about. It seems the previous owner was wondering what to name his mill when his cat jumped up on his lap. So he named the mill Cat. This is malachite. Would you believe this was used by Rembrandt? It is very expensive, so it is ground by hand. It cost about $700 to $800 for just a small amount. So if you were a poor artist, you couldn't afford the color pigment. This is lapis, which is also very expensive. $75 for just 10 grams. Here we have, this is tile, is 200 years old. It is made up, it is called rooftop red. And yes, it is made from roof tile. So Catherine didn't even believe that they made them from real roof tiles. So it was quite an experience there. Let me show you, I want to show you, Pete, the owner of the mill, gave me, now these are real, these are his wooden shoes. Look at these things. You can see that they're worn on the tips, on the ends, and he actually wore these. And I was commenting to Pete about these wooden shoes, and he just took them off, and he said, here, take them. He had another pair he put on, and he actually wore these shoes around the mill. What a great opportunity to talk with Pete. His office looked like it was 1,000,000 years old, made out of this old hewn wood on wooden benches, and we had coffee and some little cakes, and he told us the history of the mill. What a wonderful guy with his pipe. Let's see what we're going to do, how we're going to get started on today's painting. This is, up here is black acrylic. This is red acrylic. And then I took some black acrylic with a paper towel and just kind of antiqued it, because I want to place our white poppies against this red. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there have painted poppies before, but you just put, you put some poppies on a canvas, and you put your little leaves in, and you put some buds in, and then you do another poppy painting. It looks just like the one you just did. You could paint 30 poppy paintings down the line. It looks just like the first one. It all starts with this acrylic background, and you'll see on this series that I'm doing more and more and more acrylic backgrounds. Before we get into the painting, I want to show you a painting that Catherine and I did together in the tradition of the old Dutch masters. Now, Kathy and I both worked on this. Now, this is a niche, or a niche. I don't know how to pronounce it, but there's two ways of pronouncing it. But in the 1700s, they did these paintings, and they were very, very popular. Let's get in there and let's take a look at all this wonderful detail. These take a long time to paint, guys. We were probably on this for at least a couple of weeks. See that dragonfly? Now, I tried to paint that dragonfly 3 times, and I could not get it to work. Catherine came into the studio and said, well, let me give it a try. And the first time she sits down, she paints this wonderful dragonfly. I hate it when she does stuff like that. God. We have butter. Now, the more they put in these paintings, the more expensive they were. So in those days, they put everything in. They put the butterflies, they put dragonflies. There's a bee in here. You probably don't even know where the bee is. Nobody can find it. But let me point way over here. There's a bee coming over. Can you guys see it right over in here? There it is. There's a bee. And if we come over here, you're going to see a little beetle. See him? So the more they, ladybug, I call it a beetle. So the more stuff, the more they got paid, and they got paid very, very well in those days. These guys were pretty wealthy fellows, yeah. Matter of fact, I'll tell you about these paintings, and a lot of the flowers didn't bloom at the same time, so they couldn't set a bouquet up and paint from it. So they had to, when the roses were blooming, they made little color sketches of the flower, and then when these flowers were blooming, they made a color sketch. And so they would refer to their color sketches because they didn't have photographs, and they would paint their flowers in. The Dutch old masters were just great at this style of painting. The poor guys that painted loose and free, they were lucky they got anything for their paintings, until, of course, Renoir came about, the French Impressionists, and started to do their wonderful impressionistic stuff. It's just unreal. Let's get our painting started before I talk away all my time. Ooh. We're going to have our poppies. I use medium. You'll see me. You might not see me, but I'll be dipping into the medium. Use odorless paint thinner over here. And I'm using good old oil paint. I forget to tell you, but on all my shows, it's good old oil paint. Let's put a little sketch up here. I've already mixed up some black and white, made a gray. And I'm going to find out, ooh, that's a little dark or light. Put a little more black with it. I'm going to find out where my little flowers are located. There'd be one here, and maybe one over here. Yeah, see? Then, once that's done, we're going to come in and pick up some foliage green dark, a little touch of sienna, and let's get in here and put a little dark. Now, we're not painting leaves. We're just kind of getting the greenery started. I'm really looking forward to our next trip back to Holland, back to the Netherlands. We're going to be visiting some museums back there. It's going to be wonderful. We really like, Kathy and I love going back there and visiting everything. Making a little darker in there, a little over here. Maybe coming up from the bottom, we have some stems coming up. Yeah, and another one. Ooh, look at it happen. And maybe another one. Ooh, remember the stems give us the action in the painting? Yeah, picking up some foliage green light. And we come up here and get some of this going. Yeah. Kathy and I are so fortunate that we go to Berlin, Germany, and we have our certification classes going over there, and it is just wonderful. It's like we have everybody, all kinds of nationalities in there, and I have an interpreter that interprets what we're saying. Otherwise, they would just look at me with a blank stare on their face and not know what I'm saying. Let's block a poppy. White bar brush in our odorless thinner. Get rid of that green and pick up some medium. And this is called our base tone. We test it up there. We say, is that too light? I think so. Maybe I'll put a little mauve with it. Let's just play, experiment. That's all painting is. It's playing, it's experimenting. Don't be uptight. Paint loose and free. Look how loose. See the edges? How loose loose. Let's get some of that green in there. Yes, yes. Let's take our mauve. Put that in the middle. And then let's pull that out. Yeah. And there it goes. Look at that. Can you see that color just spilling out of the middle? Let's come over to the next one. We're going to take our gray and put it in here. Get a little darker, test your color, because it'll look one value on your palette and something else when you get it up here. We'll get it on. Nice and loose, and there it goes. Look at the green in there again, yes. Except on this one, let's take some yellow and orange. Maybe a touch of ochre. Let's see what that does. In the center, whoa. You see, this paint has so much pigment in it that when you just put a little bit on there, it pops off the canvas. Don't use that other soft stuff. It just mushes in, you'll have nothing. You ever have a tube of paint and you put the paint out on your palette and all this oil comes out first? That means that it wasn't manufactured properly. And it's that soft, gooey stuff. Let's come up here and let's take our white. I use titanium. It's the whitest white and has the best covering power. And we are going to pick a petal out of here. Boom, boom, boom. And another one out of here. Uh-oh, look at the mauve. This is truly wet into wet painting, where one color picks up another color and mixes with it. And you'll get another color. Look at that go. Now, the poppy is, as I mentioned on many shows, the easiest flower to paint. Yeah. Well, yeah. And back here, back petal. And we're going to come down here. These are the bottom petals. You see it go in? You see it picking up the green? That's what you want. A lot of folks, when they paint, they say, oh, I'm picking up green. Oh, that's what you want. Let it in. Be creative. Now I'm going to pick up our white again, except on this one. Let's put a little more orange with the white. Yes. Now, if you're a beginner, let me show you how you should start. You're going to start with a little sketch. You say, oh, I want to paint, but I don't know the first thing about it or even how to start. This is how you start, with a little sketch. You're going to put a little mark at the back of the petal. Then put little skinny lines showing the direction of your stroke. You're going to put a mark here, show the direction of your stroke. Now, these are petals that are up. Then you have another, I'm just picking up a little more white and orange. Another one where your strokes are all going to come in and head towards the center. Now watch, after you do that, it looks strange, I know. After you do that, watch how easy it is to pick a petal. We're going to take this petal. Now watch, I'm just going to follow the lines. Follow the lines. You see it? And then there. You see that petal? Got a little hard edge there. If that happens, just go over it again. Okay. Now we're going to go to the next one and follow the line. You see it? And the next one, follow the line. You think you can do that? I think so. Let's do another one here. Look at it happen. Look at it happen. Yeah. Little weird strokes we can get rid of. Or we could use our blending brush. Look at that. Again, you guys, you want to learn how to do florals. This is the flower to start with. Let's put some back petals in. Got a little weird right there. Let's get our blending brush going, because I can see, this is a good old blending brush, that we need to blend some of this out. So if you get some hard edges here and there, it's like putting rouge on your face. You just blend it out. And we're going to put another petal here. Make your petals different sizes. Don't make them all the same size. Look at the green coming in down below. And maybe another petal way out there. You just barely hit the canvas. and another petal out here. Just hit it and get back out. Have a little ragged spot there, but we'll get rid of that in a little bit. Now, I'm going to clean my brush off, pick up some white because my white got a lot of green. Can you see? This was what I was using. You see how dirty it got. So I'm coming over here and picking up some clean with a little touch of orange. You see how clean that is compared to the dirty? So make sure you keep your colors clean. And let's come up here and push. Now I'm going to show you a little trick that I do that you don't see me doing. I'm going to calm that down. Now watch how this happens right here. When I go to stroke, not all the time, but I'm going to push back, push back. Now when I push back, you see it puts a little buildup of paint on the edge of the petal down here. Push back. There, it shows up a little better for you. See it? So if you want to accent an edge of a petal, that's what you do. You push back. Now, here's something else I see. You see how flat that petal is? Let's round it off. Yeah, much better. And again, if you get too many little wrinkles and creases and stuff, just go in and smooth her out. Let's get some leaves going. Woohoo! Sienna and green. And we have a leaf that comes over, and watch me bring these little edges out. It's more of the poppy type of leaf. It comes down and in. And maybe we'll incorporate some of these little wiggles into the black area, which adds a little dimension. And way over here, remember that ragged edge we had over here? We're going to get rid of that with some little wiggles coming in. And maybe overlapping green, foliage green dark, sienna, and we're going to come up here and overlap. See those little edges coming out, little vein going down the middle. And maybe something down here, I don't know. We need to put a little filler in, maybe a little deep burgundy in our green, boom, 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 and we'll get something. Just kind of indicate something coming out of here, because we have some daisies going in a second. Yeah. And here. Okay, maybe something way up here. I see a little something. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. Now, I didn't plan on it, but there was a little white. Look at that. Can you see? The little white and the green. Look at that. That's good stuff. So we leave that. Sometimes we get lucky. Little vines, little things growing around. Don't forget your detail. Everybody loves to see the detail. Now, we have our little stems in there. We're going to put some daisies in. Let's come on down to the palette. Let's look at this brush. This is called a filbert. It's the brush with the rounded edges. Let's put a daisy right about in here. Let's see how that works. Now I'm right on top of the green. So what's going to happen is that it'll turn a little bit of the color in the background, which is fine. It just ties it in. We're going to take a little orange, maybe a touch of yellow with that, and a little half circle, doink. Look at that guy. Keep your daisies loose and keep them free, and don't paint a bunch of these little pinwheels that you see everybody doing. Look at that. Let's put another one, but this time, let's take a touch of sky blue. We haven't used our blues yet. Sky blue. And put another one in here. Now, this is the flat of the brush. That'll give you a stroke like that. This is the side of the brush, which gives you a much skinnier stroke. But you see how it's fat or wider on the outside, and as I come in, I pull up, and it gets skinny. Yeah, that's what you want. Pull up and let it get skinny. So, Now, first of all, you put your petals in like I did. Then we're going to come down and pick up our orange, maybe a little cad red light. And in goes our little half circle. Then we're going to set that little center in to the flower by coming over the top, just a hair. Oh, I like that orange in with the white. Look at that. Phew. Look at that. It's just free and loose. Don't spend too much time on it. Whoa, I see a little bud down there. Where did that bud come from? I didn't even see him in there. It's more of a kind of like a poppy bud. Let's get him right in here. Round belly on him. Maybe a little bit of our royal mauve in here. Royal mauve. Mauve was discovered many years ago by a chemist by accident. But it was so expensive to produce that only the kings and the queens and the princes could afford to buy the fabric. So it became known as the color of royalty because the peasants could not afford it. Too pricey. Peasants dressed mainly all in mauves, not mauves, in beiges and browns. Okay. So we're going to get a little center in this one. And we'll get a little more. So the poor peasants, they didn't have a lot of color. And all the kings had all the color. Yeah. Okay, then I'm just going to finish up these daisies over here, and then we have a little work to do on the poppy edges. But I want to get this in because I know if I don't get these in now, I will forget. Maybe a little center here and there. And indicate, but you know, you don't have to do an awful lot to these guys that are way on the side. They're just kind of there. Okay, let's look at the poppy. We'll take a brush and let's tint a little mauve. This is mauve and white. I might not get them all in for you, but oh, you know what? I think I used pink. Let's take our petal pink. Let's try that. Yeah, oh boy. Look at that color popping off on the edge of those poppies. Another one up here. Okay. Look at that go in. Now you don't put it across the whole petal, but just sort of here and there. It's an accent. If you get too much of it, it takes over the whole poppy. And a little here. And here, and here, and here, and everywhere. Let's get a little center. We're going to take my brush with the long hair. Maybe we'll take a little of this green. And we're going to put a little center in here. Well, that's not showing up. Let's take a different color. Let's take some yellow and orange and put that in. Oh, yeah, this is the stuff the bees love. And the other one will get, I'm showing it dark on my other painting, but sometimes you have to make adjustments, and I kind of like this color. So you could either go dark in there or light, whatever you want. A little more yellow. It's your painting, do what you want. Yeah, now put a lot of little dots in, because the more dots you put in, the softer it looks. How are we doing? Okay. I'm always looking at the painting going, okay, what did I leave out? A little more yellow. Now this will be in the book for you guys, because I'm leaving some stuff out, because I just don't have the time to get everything in there. But you'll see the painting that I'm working from in the book, because it has a lot more detail in it. All I'm doing is showing you a way to go, a way to get started, the way to get some paint on that canvas, the way to express yourself, a way to have fun, and don't get hung up and be afraid to, don't be afraid to lose a painting. Don't be afraid for a painting just flat not turn out. If you play it safe and you know exactly what that painting is going to look like, what's the sense of painting. Well, there you are, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you guys get your paints out. Again, this is good old oil paint, and give these poppies a shot. They're easy to do, and before you go on to doing rose paintings, you might want to give these poppies a shot. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to stop and smell the poppies along the way, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Het derde boek van Gary Jenkins is uit, boordevol prachtige bloemen en rozen. Nieuw in deze uitgave zijn de exotische vogels en vissen. U heeft deze derde editie al in huis voor slechts €34,50. Of bestel de prachtige Jenkins DVD voor dezelfde prijs. Bestel snel en maak uw serie Jenkins boeken compleet. Kijk voor bestelinformatie op omroepmax.nl of op teletextpagina 330.